Namaskar, Pranam, Vanakkam, Sadhuvat. First of all, I take this opportunity to send my best wishes and greetings for the auspicious occasion of Raksha Bandhan, which is celebrated across the country. बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं आपको रक्षा बंधन के उपलक्ष्य में. And before we start the program, Sree sir is in transit. He is on an international flight. So today I will be your host and host for English and host and host for Hindi as well, which we'll do at 9:30. So right now we'll be talking English, and after we'll end it at 9, and after half an hour, 9:30 we'll do our program in English, Hindi. And in Hindi, we'll be talking a lot about Pakistan, what are happening in Pakistan, what are the latest developments. And I have some sensational revelations to make. I don't think you would have seen them anywhere else. So please join us back at 9:30. So in the meanwhile, with praying my namaskaram and putting my head in the feet of Lord Sree Ganesha, let's do the Sree Ganesha. Now today, what we are going to talk is something which has very recently happened, and it happened just 3 hours back. It happened around 5:15 India time. Today, right now, we are at 8 o'clock India time. Just 3 hours back. So a lot of you must be wondering, what is this Indian economy under attack, Toolkit Part 2, Hindenburg, George Soros, Rahul Gandhi and G20, how are they all related? In fact, we have a limitation of words. They are much more related than that. So due course of time, we are going, in this edition of PGurus, going to cover a lot of things, and we're going to explain you how things are, how things are happening and what is really happening in and around us. So first thing, you know that G20 is going to happen next month, early next month, from 3rd of September. Within 2 days from now, Delhi will be full with a lot of people. This is the biggest ever event, international geopolitical event, which the Republic of India will be handling and will be the host under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. So that is what is happening. You all know. Now, in this geopolitics, there are things which are never static, because there's a part of Earth where there is always day. I might have night here, but on the other side we'll have day. When they have night, well, I'll have my day here. So geopolitics is a 24/7 into 365-degree. How do I say it? Is a movement of scenarios. I call it movement of scenarios which change, which are intermingled and interlinked. So with the change of scenarios, a lot of things change. Now, what are we going to talk today? You see, we know that quite confidently that we have done a surgical strike and dismantled 4 Pakistani launch pads. Then in the last Hindi episode, we discussed why was China rattled? Why did China suddenly decide to publish or print that fuzzy map, that crap map where they're saying Aksai Chin and Arunachal as their territory? What pushed Xi Jinping into that corner? We have discussed that in our last Hindi episode. And thank you very much for the great support and the viewership we have got. We really appreciate and cherish the same. Now, with that thing happening, few developments have happened again. Now, it just happened. We did our last episode, I think, on Tuesday. And Wednesday happened, passed by. Thursday, new chain of events has happened, sir. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, new chains of event has happened. What is this chain of events? First of all, we know the Uncle Xi Jinping is not coming to India. Now, it is almost official. After confirming, after doing everything, suddenly Xi is running away from G20. He has decided not to come. President Vladimir Putin is not coming. We know the reasons why, and we have discussed that. So the news here is, it is 99.99% sure by this time, 8 o'clock today, President Xi Jinping is not coming for G20. He has chickened out. That's the news. Hey, China ke dalal, tujhe kya raho? Tera aaka bhag gaya. I was telling that, that dalal of China who watches and keeps a trap of us. Your uncle has run away. He has chickened out. That's point number 1. Point number 2, what has happened is, now we know why he has a chickened out, because he could not face us. He was humiliated. And every country in the world is making mockery of Chinese diplomacy and their wolf warrior tactics, and that grandmother came in my dream and the half of the world is mine. So that doctrine is being challenged and laughed by the whole world. In fact, the whole concept is goddamn laughable today. Anyway, so Uncle Xi is out of the picture. Good, not a problem. The show must go on, and show will go on, with or without you. That's point number 1. Point number 2, what has happened? Now you see, yesterday or day before yesterday, Evergrande has declared bankruptcy. The stock values have eroded by 90%. 90%. And the investor confidence in Chinese stocks, Chinese market, and everywhere is shaking. People are pulling money from Chinese markets like cats and dogs. And again, after our, that Jingshu or Xingju, whatever you call it, I can't pronounce the name right. China ke dalal, I can't pronounce the name right. Don't take me otherwise. Now, after that, we know that even the Hong Kong stock markets are no longer trusted. They are volatile. People don't trust them anymore. So what is China going to do? Imagine the erosion of stock wealth which has happened in China. Though Emperor Xi tried to say, okay, if you make money from stocks, you will have no tax. But the emperor knows nobody is going to make money from stocks. Whatever your money put there, it will be swaha, swaha. It will just burn out. So emperor knows that. So you can only pay tax when you make money. This part you know. So suddenly, European markets not doing good. France, we have one more coup in Gabon. French stock exchanges are shaking because the dominance of France in those 40 countries of Equinox is kind of shaking. What does it mean? It means that $500 billion which French get from that is shaking. France was incidentally the only country in that European region which was kind of stable. Germany, England, things are bad to us. You all know. You know what is happening in Europe. American stock markets, again, not doing so well. Debt crisis is there. A lot of undercurrents are happening in US. And I think Republicans have started taking a sizable lead. And especially after 𝗣𝗚𝗍𝗂𝘀𝘀 𝗏𝗂𝑚𝑒 being the running mate for President Donald Trump, a lot of equations within the Republican camp seems to be sorted out. Now, Democrats are really sulking. They don't know what to do. That is sending shockwaves in the US stock markets. You again know that. So European stock markets are down. American stock markets are not doing well. And Chinese stock markets are nosediving, including Hong Kong. I want to make a point very strong here. That is including Hong Kong. And by the way, I have a lot of Rakis today. Okay. So including Hong Kong. Now, what is happening here? Now, the only stock market where things are good, and if you look at IMF and the World Bank, our economic outlook for the quarter is revised to around 7.2, 7.3. So we'll do somewhere between 6.5 to 7.5. I'll take it as a median, 7.2, 7.3. Now, our stock markets have grown. Our things are doing very well. So the toolkit and the gang wanted to attack the Indian economy. Now, how do you attack the Indian economy? Now, we have G20, which is around the corner. And the attack on Indian economy is very prevalent. Look, because why do they need to attack us now? Because look, everywhere in the world, there is not a favorable investment destination except our motherland, India, right? So when these things are becoming more and more prevalent, the way India is handling G20, the way we are prepared, the way we are dominating the world stage, a lot of people are not happy with it. So what is the attack on the tool? What is the attack on the Indian economy? What is the toolkit? Today morning, when I woke up early, and after some time, I saw a lot of buzz on the social media. I was just trying to check. The moment I see some uneven actions happen on the social media, I say, oh my God, something is going to hit us. So, buddy, be ready. So what does hit us? Financial Express and Financial Times either, I can't remember, and Guardian has published an article claiming, allegedly, that 10 years back, there was some round tipping of money which happened, and there was a family which was very close to the Prime Minister of India. And out of that round tipping of money, which was around $1 billion, they made a lot of money and the stocks were jacked up and all. And again, not a surprise. Who's on the target this time? Any guesses? Adani again. Mr. Adani is again on the target. And who is this guy doing it? So what is the toolkit? Hindenburg Part 2. Now, incidentally, this was an allegation which came 10 years back. 10 saal pehle. Department of Revenue Intelligence audited it. Whatever they had to do. Now, after that, the honorable courts, SEBI, they all took a cognizance of it. And after that, it was done. Adani's and the group was given a clean sheet. So this is a done and dusted issue which happened 10 years back. Now these two publications claim that there's some alleged links and some paper trail and all it has come up. Now, first thing which makes me suspicious is look at the timing. Surgical camps dismantled. China's map thing did not get ground. Pakad nahi paya. New attack. So up till that day, up till 5 o'clock, we are okay. I mean, it has happened. We know it's bound to happen that something or the other will be thrown at us. Now, Adani Group was very quick. They rebutted the charges. They clarified it happened 10 years back. These agencies, kind of government agencies looked into it, and we were given a clean sheet, which is the case. There is no ambiguity around it. Now, incidentally, I was on a TV debate on the same issue at around 5 o'clock. Suddenly at 5:15, the transmission was stopped by the host saying that Mr. Rahul Gandhi is going to do a press conference on this. So, oh my God. Mr. Rahul Gandhi doing a press conference on this? And I was a part of the debate. Mr. Rahul Gandhi said, look, these are two very credible newspapers. So suddenly Guardian and FE becomes very, very credible. They are the gospel truth. They are the words of the Bible. Nothing can be challenged. And they have shown a paper trail. And according to that, claims by them, alleged claims by them, there is a big misappropriation of funds. There was $1 billion which was round-tripped. And because of this $1 billion round-trip, there was a family which is hinting at Adani's, which are very close to the Prime Minister. So he kind of facilitated this. And that's how the stock market prices or the share price went up. That is the allegation. Right? That's how the stock market price went up. And then Mr. Gandhi very conveniently said that, look, G20 is round the corner. And this is leaving a very bad image vis-a-vis world and about the Indian economy. So as Mr. Prime Minister's name has got involved, so he concluded by this time Prime Minister's name is involved. The onus is on the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Sree Narendra Modi ji, to clear his name before G20. I'm telling you, quote unquote, before G20. Ab bhaiya G20 kab hai? 3 din baad. So today, imagine the scenario. Today, two international newspapers come up with some allegation, some alleged investigation, whatever. That's not important. And Sri Rahul Gandhi ji has kind of taken that as the words of Bible. He says it is true, first of all, no investigation done, it is true. Secondly, he has concluded and he has included that Prime Minister is involved. And he is given the order, look, Mr. Prime Minister, before G20, that is 3 days, before 3 days from now, you have to clear your name. Otherwise, it will be seen as a very bad on Indian economy. Indian financial institutions will be questioned. Indian financial stock and Indian financial institutions will be questioned. Indian stock markets will be questioned. Indian stock will be questioned. Because there are two papers which have written something around Mr. Adani. So, Mr. Prime Minister, this is how it is going to be. So, you please be prepared. This is where the allegation is, my friends. I was completely zapped. I cannot fathom this thought. You should have seen my face on the TV. I don't know, some of you might have even done it. But what the heck are we talking here? I mean, and usual, uske baad ki kahani. Mr. 𝗤𝗍 𝗬𝗧 comes and says, we need a JPC. Now imagine, you want Mr. Prime Minister to clear his name within 3 days. And now you want a JPC. So are you telling us, Mr. Gandhi, that a JPC will be formed now, after you're told? And you're just an MP, right? You're not anybody great within the constitution as per your position, though you are the Karta of Congress, we all know. Then the JPC will be formed, that the JPC will investigate, and the JPC will investigate. And within 2 days, they will tell you Mr. Modi is involved or not. Now, I want to break this up part by part. That is part 2. Mr. Gautam Adani and his group of companies have very clearly said it is George Soros who is involved behind this. It is George Soros who has tried to do, salvo number 2. And let me remind you one thing. Whenever such things happen, stock markets are highly, highly sensitive to places. And anything comes, it can shake you things here and there. Now imagine, even if by this short selling, even if stocks fall by 2-3% and you buy them at the right point of time, they will come up within 5 days, 10 days. And if you buy in big volumes, you are going to mint hundreds of crores. Somebody is going to mint hundreds of crores. Last time when the Adani shares fell down and when they came up, there are people who minted thousands of crores. Now point number 1 is this a new tactic of corporate blackmail and corporate extortion, wherein you use such crap and BS to mint hundreds and thousands of crores? Point number 1. Point number 2, if the DRI, Department of Revenue Intelligence and the courts have given a clean chit to Mr. Adani 10 years back and recently. So are you saying that DRI is sold out? Supreme Court of India is sold out? And all the financial institutions and controllers like SEBI, CAG, they're all sold out? So if you are saying this, Mr. Gandhi, then you're casting aspersions on your own country. It's not casting aspersions on Modi. And don't forget it, Mr. Gandhi, you were ruling, your family was ruling the country for 65 years. Is this what you have given to the country in 65 years? That's point number 2. Point number 3, an alleged newspaper somewhere puts a op-ed. I will call it op-ed for the sake of my convenience. Places a op-ed and you have taken that as a gospel truth. Haan, sab theek hai. Guardian ne likha, wahan likha, sab theek. It's exactly what you were doing at the time of BBC. When the BBC came up with a documentary, you say, oh, it's all truth and it's all done. And when BBC was given a tax notice, you say, because they came up with a documentary against Prime Minister Modi, that is why they have been kind of pushed and cajoled, and that is why these tax notices are sent. But the reality is BBC has themselves admitted of tax evasion. Now that is the reality. You once said that 𝙒𝙧 को Modi ने बेच दिया, 𝙒𝙧 को Adani को बेच दिया, अंबानी को बेच दिया, 𝙒𝙧 को बचाओ, गरीब का पैसा बचाओ. You are wearing those black bands. Now, 𝙒𝙧 has $463 billion of assets under it. 𝙒𝙧 has grown 12%. 𝙒𝙧 has done the best financial year last year. And 𝙒𝙧 is well intact. You had said same for HAL. Now, HAL has the highest and the best order book since its existence right now. So, good luck here. Now, the fourth point I want to make is, are we doubting our own financial institutions? Are we doubting our own system? Are we casting aspersions on our own system? Then more dangerous than Soros, who are these people who are more dangerous than Soros? We know what George Soros is up to, what is a 𝗼𝗚𝗍𝗍 𝗓𝗏, what they're up to. We know who funds them. Everything is out in the open. Nothing is hidden, friends. We know where the money comes from against India propaganda. Now, when Indian markets can come up and Indian markets are going up, why is this suddenly when China goes down, you want to bring down the India? When Chinese interests are compromised, you want to compromise Indian interest. And when Chinese do a nosedive, you want something similar to happen here. If you have to even pull a 10-year-old canard and bring it to the forefront. Now, instantly about the JPC, Mr. Gandhi says that, look, the 2 foreign newspapers has written something allegedly. So as per that, the JPC to bhaiya kara do. Correct? Foreign newspapers. Now, Mr. Gandhi, by that logic, you have a picture, photo, of signing an MOU with Xi Jinping. Now, the first question I want to ask, should not be a JPC done on that first? Now, if you're asking for a JPC for those some newspapers writing something, here is a picture you're signing an MOU. Should not be a JPC done on that first? Should you not make the MOU copy public? Has Rajiv Gandhi Foundation not got money from China? Yes, it has got. And when Doklam was happening, you were having some chicken chow mein with the Chinese ambassador without informing ME. So these are all documented facts, Mr. Gandhi. So shouldn't the JPC be conducted or formed for all these things? Now, if Indian markets and Indian investors lose money because of this crap, which you are kind of trying to validate and support, the money which small people like chote log like me are going to lose because of this, are you going to compensate that? Why are you linking its threats to G20? What has it got to do with G20? Mr. Adani has done something or not done something. How is that linked to G20? And even for the sake of argument, just for 1 second, if Mr. Adani has done something wrong, the law of the land will take hold of him. Is India only about Adani? Is Adani ji controlling 70% of the India GDP? Then there's a concern. Adani Group doesn't even control 1% of the Indian GDP. So if Adani Group has done this, just for the sake of argument, so aren't you casting aspersions on everybody else? That means Mittals, Ambanis, Rohiyas, everybody's like this. Lohiyas, everybody is like this. So what kind of a Rajniti is this? What kind of a political gimmickry is this? What kind of a canard are you trying to win, Mr. Gandhi? What are you up to? And now you are conveniently saying that before G20, the Prime Minister has to come clean. So where does an alleged so-called misappropriation of funds be linked to G20? And how conveniently you have put Prime Minister into the dock and said that Prime Minister should come his name clear. First of all, there is nothing wrong, right? If there is something wrong, does Mr. Adani take dictations from Mr. Modi? No. Is Mr. Modi or his brothers or his family in the board? No. Are they involved in any decision making? No. Has Mr. Modi done anything? Has he authorized any transaction? No. So you conveniently dragged our Prime Minister into it. Then you are giving him a deadline, bhaiya, 2 din mein sab theek kar lo. And then you are saying that if it is not done, if the JPC is not done, then I'm coming to JPC, I have an important point to discuss with you all. Then all these nations which are coming from G20 will think our systems are opaque, fraudulent. You didn't use the word fraudulent, are opaque and not transparent and not trustworthy. That is what you are trying to kind of say. In a way, you are doubting the credibility of India as such. You are questioning the credibility of India as such. You are questioning everything which 1.4 billion Indians like me and hardworking Indians stand for. You are doubting everything what a taxpayer pays as a tax for the development of my country. You are casting aspersions on the vote of the voter who has voted Prime Minister Modi. You are casting aspersions on the thinking process of people who have given him 303 seats. You are casting aspersions on the mindset of people who are making him win again and again. So when you win an election, that is people's mandate. When Modi ji wins, it is Adani's mercy. That is what you are trying to infer. And conveniently, I want to ask you one question, Mr. Gandhi. Bhai sahab, ye khabar subah aayi 10-11 baje. At 10 or 11, this news came up. So by 5 o'clock, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 घंटे में you have concluded everything. What you have your CIA at your disposal. How many international financial task force you have at your disposal? Looks like you have everybody on planet Earth under your disposal. You just send a command and everybody within 6 minutes could give you 6 hours could give you a report and confirmation and say, yes, it is Prime Minister Modi who's involved. What kind of a mechanism you have, Mr. Gandhi? ये बताइए थोड़ा आपके पास है क्या? What is your yantra and tantra which can do all this in 6 hours? I believe the best of the intelligence agencies and best of the things in the world can't do it in 6 hours. If I can get a CIA, Mossad and KGB together, still they cannot do it in 6 hours. What you seem to have done from your Tughluq Road residence, well, you must have something which is in the 5th dimension, or which is beyond the human intellect, or which is very near to the escape velocity of Jupiter. I mean, you talked about one day, escape velocity of Jupiter. So people like me don't understand what is escape velocity of Jupiter. Maybe it's something very near to that, Mr. Gandhi. Well, not a problem. And I want to talk specifically about this JPC. अरे भैया एक बात बताओ, DRI nothing, SIT nothing, SEBI nothing, Supreme Court nothing. ठीक है? Now in DRI the experts who will look into, SEBI experts, SIT they hire experts or nominate experts, then Supreme Court judges with the acumen and the domain knowledge and the experts put together come to a conclusion. Look at all the sides, all the pehlus, all the dimensions of the problem and come to a conclusion. Now, with due respect to the MPs of India, utmost respect from them, including you, Mr. Gandhi. Now, you are telling me that your group of selected MPs will be more competent than these experts, because at the end of the day, to look into these financial transactions and things of this nature, you will again need experts. You will again go to a SEBI, you will again go to some financial institutions, you will again go to a, for example, DRI, and you will ask them to give you the experts. And even the court may ask them to give them the experts, because even the honorable judges are not competent to look into these financial nitty-gritties and so-called alleged round-tripping of funds and all. So again, they have to go back to these experts. So how is your JPC going to help? Unless and until you tell me you know finance better than any of them, or you are better than EY, KPMG and all others who have audited Mr. Adani's books, and you are the best of best and you can do it yourself. Well, if you have a claim like that, then please come out and share it. Because I don't know how your set of MPs are going to be better and better than these financial experts. How are they going to find misappropriation, alleged misappropriation, which these all institutions and financial experts could not find? How are they going to find the magical bullet which nobody could find? And let me tell you about Mr. Hindenburg. He was an ambulance driver. His lot of times FBI has come after him. He's accused of short selling and destroying a lot of people's futures and fortunes. There are a lot of companies he's not allowed in US to talk and issues reports on. And to the best of my knowledge, last time he had 10 CFAs, certified financial analysts, which are working for him. So are you telling me that collective intellect of these 10 people seems to be more than around 7 billion sane minds which inhabit planet Earth, right? So these are some things which are really baffling. And if I talk of this Roy Singham, I read something very interesting about this thing. I said, besides the canard of these journalists and publications and all, and this, all their chacha, bhatija, NGOs and all that, there were also some contributions from our ex-RBI governor, Sri Raghuram Rajan ji. Raghuram Rajan ji's name has also figured out somewhere. Now, who is Mr. Rajan? He's the ex-governor of RBI. He's the person who has predicted doomsday for India at the drop of a hat. As per his calculation, I should be ashes by now, and the country should have perished in Indian Ocean. Well, it has not, Mr. Rajan. Thank you very much. And he called himself the rock star governor. I don't know what makes people think I'm a rock star. No, not me. I see Mr. Rajan. Hum to rock star kaam hai. Oh, rock star governor and all that. So who all are involved in trying to put credibility of India and Indian institutions at a question mark? Who all are working against the interest of India? Are you looking for any, straws which are thrown in a guzzling water stream and you want to hold by them? Is Modi obsession gone to the limit that you don't even care for the country, you don't even choose what the country has done? Let me draw a parallel here, viewers. It's very important for you to understand. When Prime Minister Modi took office, 2014, the banks had shown a loss of 20,000 crores, 20,000 crore. And when Modi ji got an audit done, because a lot of NPAs were not declared, they were sure, paisa. When the audit and all was done, the loss came to 80,000 crores. Kitna? 80,000 crore. A lot of people, including Mr. Jaitley at that point of time, unki atma ko shanti de, he advised Prime Minister Modi that you should come up with a white paper and declare what it is. You know what did Prime Minister Modi do? He said, if I come up with a white paper, that will be the end of India's story, that will be the end of Indian economy, that will be the end of the dreams of our future generations which are going to come. So I'm not going to come up with a white paper. What is the risk? Modi ji, they will blame you that you messed up with the economy, you don't know how to run the economy, they will say you're a chai wala, pakodonomics, all this. Don't think Mr. Modi is naive. He knows all this is coming his way. But in the interest of India, in the national good, in the interest of our nation, he decides, look, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to issue any white paper. And remember when Modi ji came to power, the first canard, which was when Modi ji doesn't know how to run economy, chai wala, pakode wala, pakodonomics. And Mr. Chidambaram told once, whatever is the knowledge of Mr. Modi, it can be written on economics can be written on the back of a stamp, postal stamp. That is Mr. Chidambaram, quote unquote. So with all these things happening, Mr. Modi pulled it. We had NPAs of 14.5%. Today, few months back, 4.5% NPAs. And the same set of banks which had a loss of 80,000 crores have a profit of more than 1 lakh crores. Same set of banks, same system, everything is same. So Mr. Modi, Prime Minister Modi, took a political risk of his lifetime and decided that Modi rahe na rahe, desh rehna chahiye. Even Modi survives or not survives politically, the country should survive. He did not issue a white paper. When I tell you we were at fragile 5, yes, we were in fragile 5. When I tell you we are at top 5, we are at top 5. A lot of things have changed on the ground. Now imagine, do the comparison. These are two prime ministerial candidates. You have Rahul Gandhi here, who is trying to question everything, anything what India stands for, and you have Prime Minister Modi here, who risked everything and anything what he stood for all his life, just for the mother India. This is the difference. You can make the difference, you can make the contrast. And I don't know what Mr. Gandhi had to do with that press conference. He came with a press conference, he gave his bites, and what will be the news today? The news in the international media would be Congress's Rahul Gandhi challenges Prime Minister Modi on some alleged multi-billion fraud in which his close friends and associates were associated and round-tipping of money happened. And he requested the Prime Minister to clear his name before G20. इसे कहते हैं तिल का दाढ़ बनाना. It is called creating an issue out of no issue. It is called creating a hyperbola. It is called creating a canard. It's called creating a facade. It's called creating a mountain of lies. That is exactly what has happened. So today at PGurus, we had decided to take something else. But when I saw this happening, I saw it is very, very important for you guys to know what is happening. Because you know what my worry is? My worry is as follows. If this can happen to Mr. Adani tomorrow, Ambani, 3rd day Ruiya, 4th day Loiya, 5th day some Chaudhary, 6th day some other group. A lot of our business houses are still, family originated, not controlled. Some of them are not family originated groups. So if Hindenburg can target and loot and plunder so much of wealth from India, if after short selling, the people who bought the shares of Adani, they know it will come up. What about the people who made hundreds, some made thousands of crores? And what about the poor and small investors like us? You know, what is our agony? If I have 10,000 of shares, if they become 7,000, I'm not going to become bankrupt. And if they become 13,000, I'm not going to buy a mansion. It's going to be the same. My life will be the same. But if I put people like me, 3,000 into 10 crores, do the multiplication. 3,000 into 10 crores, do the multiplication. It is how common people are being used. It is how common people's interests are being compromised. It is how common people are being made pawns in this game of chess, wherein people's interests are sacrosanct. I'm telling you, after this fiasco, I think market by 1 or 2% today. Even in 1 or 2%, if you do a mass buying, you're going to make few hundred crores for sure, eyes closed. Few hundred crores. Who are the people who are benefiting out of this? Who are the people who are making money out of this? These are some pertinent questions which we should be asking. And we as citizens, we don't need to panic, we don't need to worry, because if we let these things happen, Adani is the first, not the last. I don't know where it is going to end. It is not going to end, healthy and fast. It is going to be a long war with this cancer, which is going to infest our country. That, somebody will come up with a paper, you will devastate somebody, and then the things will take on from there. My question is, why Congress does not trust DRI, does not trust Supreme Court, does not trust SIT, does not trust financial experts, does not trust anybody? And when they put allegations on Prime Minister Modi, he always said, I trust the law of the land. Mr. Modi had to bear this for more than 2 decades almost. But Mr. Modi never said, I don't trust anybody. He said, I trust the law of the land. If I am free, if I am innocent, I'll be declared innocent. And here at the drop of a hat, things change. When you win, it is democracy. When they win, it is autocracy. When you do things, it is for the constitution, saving the constitution. When you do things, they are destroying the democracy and they are disrupting the constitution. What you do is a bright sunny day. What they do is a black day. Can you see, viewers, what kind of a contrast are we talking? I really wonder how Soros, with such a small money, could at times cause such a big impact. It is because people over here are supporting his cause. Even if there's an issue like this, what you should have done, Mr. Gandhi, ideally, even if there's an issue and you really found some, path-breaking evidence and all, you really got the silver bullet, you should have waited for the G20 to be over. Or the G20 was over, done and dusted, then you should have raised it, because whatever, if there are some misappropriations, they have already been done. If there is some alleged round tipping of money, that is already being done. Why now? First, terrorist camps we dismantled. China comes with a map. She is not willing to come to Delhi. He's hiding, he's checking out. Then Mr. Gandhi comes up with these baseless allegations based on some newspaper report somewhere. I think the people... I'm going to tell you something interesting. I think the people who watch मेरे जैसे छोटे-मोटे लोगों का vlog is more than the circulation of these newspapers. More people watch our channel PGurus and my vlogs than the circulation of these newspapers. Whom are we trying to kid? Whom are we trying to hide? Right? This is attack on Indian economy. Indian economy ka attack matlab people like you and me are going to pay a price for it. Toolkit part 2 is activated. If we don't challenge it, if we don't hit it, Toolkit part 3, part 4 will be done. Hindenburg has come again with a thing which is buried 10 years back. And if there was a scam, why didn't it reveal itself for last 10 years? If there was a scam, there was a round tipping of money, why didn't it reveal itself for 10 years? Now, Mr. Adani is very clear about George Soros' investment. What baffles my imagination, what I'm really paranoid about, how easily on the cue Mr. Gandhi jumps into the fray and puts his hat into the ring and conveniently creates a canard and puts the onus on Prime Minister Modi. And that too, he has very, very clearly and conveniently, amidst taking care of the national interest, linked it to G20. Now, Mr. Gandhi, you could have waited for another 10 days. If the things happened 10 years back, if they could wait for 10 years, sir, 10 दिन में और क्या हो जाता? right? You could have waited for 10 years. Now, don't we see this is political? Don't we see it's a canard? Don't we see it's a sham? Don't we think it is Modi Virod crossing levels of sanity? And that is what is happening. Now, viewers, brothers and sisters, our idea of doing this thing is to make everything clear to you line by line, point by point, dot by dot, so that you don't do anything in paranoia. You don't do anything in haste. We don't want you to lose your hard-earned money. Gaadi kamai, khoon pasine ki kamai. We don't want you to lose that. That is why we are telling you what happened, what is the timing, and how these all things are linked. And let me tell you another thing. So I'm going to cover it in Hindi. Today, Pakistan stock market lost 1,700 points. Kind of a washout. And incidentally, Chinese stock markets also lost somewhere in the same proportion. And you know what? In Pakistani stock exchange, 60% of the equity is with Chinese. So when this China and Pakistan are shrinking or crumbling under their own weight and their karma, why some people are trying to replicate that in India by creating these false allegations and these false stories which have no identity, which have nothing to do with reality. I wanted to bring to your notice. And before we go to question answers, I know there'll be a lot today. I want to bring to you one important issue where I need everybody's support. This has nothing to do with topic, by the way. I live in an apartment, and in this apartment, one of our elderly senior citizens was attacked by a dog. And I have seen before, my gardener was bitten by a Rottweiler, and his hand was almost taken away. He had to be operated, he had to be in hospital, and after 6 months, his hand movements are not perfect. Through this 𝗣𝗃𝗍 channel and with the support of all my brothers and sisters, this dog menace is becoming uncontrollable in India. I know this program is watched by anybody and everybody who matters in India and in the echelons of power. Sir, mera namna nivedan hai. I have my hand folded request. We should immediately bring laws and legislations about dogs in multi-dwelling units or these condominiums or these multi buildings, because our senior citizens, our kids, our elderly, our young and old are at stake. I don't think in this country the rights of a dog are that more than a senior citizen or a young Indian or an Indian kid who can become a 𝗣𝗚𝗍𝗆 𝗍𝗪𝗀 or a Narendra Modi one day. This menace is increasing. We need rules, we need regulations to regulate it. I know a lot of you are dog lovers who will not like what I say, but this is a burning problem. We had an incident in Pune where somebody had to shoot a neighbor and get him killed. We don't want those things to happen. And we don't want to lose our lives to these ferocious dogs like Rottweilers and these German Shepherds and all. If you have a farmhouse, might as well keep 10 dogs here. But in multi-dwelling units, in apartments and cities, we should have some strict legislations around it. This is my handful request. I've been writing this a lot on social media. But unfortunately, every day I see a life lost, a kid die. And when I see a kid die, I have young kids, and I see a kid die as a father, my heart breaks. I can't imagine the plight of that father and mother. So again, PGurus is a very powerful medium. Hand-folded request. We need legislations. We need strong legislations. और आज रक्षाबंधन का दिन है. कृपया हमारे बच्चों की, बुजुर्गों की और Indians की रक्षा करें. These dogs, good, keep them when you have farmhouses, you have coteries, and they don't become public menace and safety hazard. We can handle terrorists, we can handle jihadis, we can handle Khalistanis, but I don't want young Indian lives to be lost to those dogs. This is my hand-folded request, and I need all of your support for that. On that note, I'm sorry I got a bit emotional because when you have kids and all, it happens with you. I would like to end my monologue and would request my brother Sachin ji to take us through some questions. I'm sure you will have a lot of questions and we'll do a lot of questions. Yes. 𝗣𝗽𝗍𝗍𝘍 𝗢𝘂𝘁. Sumit ji, shouldn't we treat it as an opportunity to strengthen our markets and economy? निबंध बाबा वीर हमारा बिना खोड़े रहे विचार. देखिए, दीपक जी, what I would suggest, why I'm doing this program with you. I know this program will reach a few 100,000 people, and there are a lot of clips which get cut on WhatsApps and they reach a lot of groups. Even I get them circulated from somewhere. Mera clip mujhe milta hai, which is okay, not a problem. Good, thank you for spreading the word. Deepak ji, my idea is to educate the people, because a common man, a middle class army, lower middle class army, common India is what we are. I'm a middle class man. If I have put some 10, 50, 50,000 here, I want it to become 55. I don't want it to become 35. So this paranoia, which is being engineered, is very dangerous for the society, very dangerous for the market. And it being linked to G20 and questioning the transparency of Indian institutions is something which has hurted and bled my heart. That is why on PGurus we decided to take up, because we could educate you at length what this canard is all about. So you don't have to worry, you don't have to panic. When you know Deepak ji, I know you are going to teach 5 or 10 more people around you. That is how the positive word spreads. If they have a propaganda machinery, if George Soros has billions, I don't have billions, but I have billions of people like you. I don't have a billion followers on social media, but there are billions of people like you who can counter his billions of dollars. I know I have a billion people with me who can counter their billions. His billions cannot shape my billions. That is the belief we have, and that is the belief we are fighting for, sir. Next question, Sachinji. Okay, the interesting question is, what my sources are telling me, my sources are telling me Modi government might bring the bill, one nation, one election. No confirmation, but my sources are telling me that this could be the agenda. And I think this can be the agenda. Next question, please. Karthik Vishwanathan ji, ask Sumit ji, if CIO is a good move, but ED needs to take permission for state where CBI needs, how will Central resolve this problem? A good question, Karthik ji. I'll explain you. CIO is Chief Investigation Officer. Now, traditionally, if you look at the structure, I have been advocating this for a long time now. And wherever the echelons of power are, and wherever some people give ear to whatever 2 cents I put in, I've been saying that today CD functions separately, police alag kaam karti hai, ED functions separately. Now with the CIO, of course, there will be some changes in the legislation which will be brought in. Today, NIA does not need permission to go into anything. ED can go anywhere where they want. Yes, CBI needs permission. But when they are bought under one umbrella, and when the things are kind of controlled by one person, I can start with NIA. I'm telling you a practical word. I can start with NIA, and when NIA kind of does this investigation, I can get the ED involved. And if I think there's a need of CBI, I can get the CBI involved. So in that case, the permission will not be required. And of course, yes, there's some fine-tuning or tweaking of the law which needs to be done. But what I'm going to tell you, Karthik ji, the day CIO is put in place, this fine-tuning and tweaking of the law will come with the position itself, because it's a known problem. With this problem, the CIO cannot function properly. So if I'm bringing the CIO, it's like I want to build the house, but I don't want to build the plinth. So without plinth, the house will not stand. So, but naturally, if I'm building the house, the plinth has to be there. It's a natural thing, sir. Next question. Ramesh ji wants to ask, Sumit sir, how to overcome the cranky behavior of China? Are they having any new toolkits? Ramesh ji, Sunday, 10 o'clock, Hindi, we will have a lot more to reveal about China. You see, I have no doubt Pakistan has nuisance value, but the third perception comes from China. And you see, whenever the Chinese economy will go down, either they will try to bring your economy down, or they will do something where the world's economy will slow down. It's like if my one tire is not able to move, I'll try to make sure the car I kind of drive slowly so that all the tires come to that speed. Otherwise, my tire will be burst out. That is exactly what China is trying to do. We have to be prepared for that. And we are prepared for that. And people like us, me, Sree sir, Sachin bhai, and our team, and there are a lot of people like us who are doing their national duty, who are doing the Rashtra Karma, and who are letting a few 100,000 people know every time what they're up to. So it's not we are not doing anything. I read somewhere, sir. I said when bad people do what they're supposed to do, all the evil deeds, you know what is the more evil than that evil deed? The more evil than evil deed is when good people choose not to do. And we have chosen to do. We have not chosen not to do. We have chosen to do and make an impact. How big, how small, we don't know, but एक हिंदी में कहावत है, अकेले शुरुआत की थी, लोग मिलते गए, कारवां बनते गए, and if we have people like you with us, then Lord Mahakal is himself with us. Who can stop us? Next question, Sachinji. Stone. Ask Sumit, China boundary are within. Ask Sumit. Ask SP, China's boundary are within the Great Wall. They built themselves to protect China against the Mongols. They drew their own borders. Why don't we remind the world of this? I mean, this is a valid point, Mr. Stone. I mean, they drew their own borders because they were shit scared of Mongols. There's no way they could handle Mongols. And let me remind you, even with the Great Wall in place, 𝗣𝗬𝗖𝗍𝘗 Khan walked through China. 𝗣𝗬𝗖𝗍𝗗 Khan was the grandson of Genghis Khan. And by the way, it's not Khan, Shah Rukh Khan wala Khan. It's Khan. Khan in Mongolian means king. Like we say Maharaja Vikramaditya. So in Mongol, they say Khan Vikramaditya. Khan, Khan. I've been, by the way, 5-6 times to Mongolia and seen all of Mongolia. I have a lot of interesting incidents which I should talk on a broadcast about Mongolia. A lot of you must have seen that. So it's not Khan, by the way. It was a Genghis Khan. No, it's Khan. So 𝗣𝗬𝗖𝗍𝗗 Khan kind of dismantled the China, entered the China, got rid of the walls, amidst the walls they have in place. And 𝗣𝗬𝗖𝗍𝗗 Khan ruled China for a long time. So it's true. Next question. Padishwari, ask SP and SI when to accept UCC and CA to be freshed out and vote on. I think UCC is on the cards. It can happen anytime. Even in this adivation of parliament, something can happen. And regarding the CA, I think something bigger is being cooked. What my guess is here. What my guess is, CA will happen, and don't be surprised, Pradeepji, if you hear something much bigger than CA. I am hearing the life for a Pakistani Hindu to come to India might be made much, much easier. How, when, I can't reveal more at this point of time, but it is going to happen. And a word of caution here, before I forget, you have to be very careful before investing money in Hong Kong, French, and Macau, Hong Kong, French, Macau, and China stock exchanges. And keep away from most of the European stock exchanges because you have to watch out. And Australian stock markets, wait. Do not put a lot of money, wait for some time. Give it 15 days. See in 15 days how do the things shape up. Don't take any major decisions. Don't try to become a lot of greedy or a lot of ambitious or a lot of adventurous vis-a-vis this. So watch your things very, very carefully. Next question, Sachin. Narayanji, what stars? Ask Sumit, are SB and DRI keeping watch on short selling of Adani stocks through FII? It is kept on the watch, and there is a mechanism in the stock exchange, sir. If a stock exceeds an X amount of value, let's say 5%, 10%, immediately it's stopped. And if it falls below 5%, 10%, it is immediately stopped. So we have those mechanisms in place. But, तो फिर बोलोगे सुमित जी, what is tension क्या है? Tension है, even if the stocks fall by 1.5%, but if I buy a lot, if I do mass buying, let's say I pick up 1 crore, 2 crore shares, right? And then when they come back to another 1% or 2%. So this arbitrage of 1 or 2% in the term of rupees, multiply it by 1 or 2 crore shares. It is few hundred crores, or it can be even few thousand crores. That is where the whole game is being played within India. It's called एक तीर से कई सारे निशाने. Target Modi, target Adani, make money, cast aspersions on the Indian financial systems, and make India look a monkey in G20, which their mansha or their intention will never be fulfilled. By the way, and if they think India is a monkey, no. When I talk of the monkey, I remember what comes to me is 𝗤𝗽𝗍𝙠 Mahabali Hanuman. So if you think you're going to make a monkey out of us in front of the whole world, no. We will seek more and more blessings of 𝗤𝗽𝗍𝙠 and will emerge more victorious, more powerful, and more resilient than before. Sachin, my next question. Full metal plate. Namaskar, sir. Thank you very much. How long do you think BJP and Modi will take hits from all over the world and inside India? Should they do something revolutionary to win elections? ED collected 2 lakh crores. Why don't they distribute? It's a wonderful idea. When ED does not attach the property. ED takes the title of the property. There's a difference between attaching and taking the title. When you take when you attach, the title comes with you. You don't get the physical control of the property. The property can be still with me, but the title is with ED. By the time the things are not settled, you cannot sell that property, you cannot liquidate that property. So basically, you lose the title of the property. In sometimes the क़ब्ज़ा or क़ब्ज़ा may not be lost. So it depends. That is how क़ब्ज़ा means who is physically present at the problem. The second thing I want to make you, sir, up to elections 2024, you can see this full-blown attacks coming. We are up against ISI, we are up against CCP, and in some cases, we are even up against CIA. So you cannot handle all the people at all the go. Remember what Prime Minister Modi said, अगले 5 सालों में आने वाले 1000 सालों का नक्शा बनेगा. So 2024 elections is going to decide how you are in my future generations will live and prevail for next 1000 years. Our vote is going to be sacrosanct. So we'll exactly decide this. So if elections go haywire, then things may not be the same. Things will change, take a tailspin. Next question, Sajjan bhai. Vishwanathanji wants to ask, why Adani is not taking legal action against Hindenburg? So he ducked in the earlier episode, though there was a report of some action. Okay. Now, Mr. Adani has already went to ICJ. And I think the case and all is looked up into by them. And I think one of the very I can't remember the name now, one of the very prominent legal firms of US he has kind of employed for this. The problem is not Hindenburg. The problem is the cabal which amplifies what Hindenburg wants to say. There are numerous papers like Hindenburg which can keep on publishing a report every day. Even they should publish a report on me. I will become some famous international. अरे Hindenburg भैया एक मुझ पे भी छाप दो ना. Talk about how many $100 billions of assets I have. Now, idea is by this, when people like Rahul Gandhi ji and others start jumping into it and make it look legitimate, that is where the trouble comes. So there is no way you can go against and file a suit against Rahul Gandhi ji. And I want to ask Rahul Gandhi ji, who is making all the allegations, Adani aisa, Adani waisa hai. But Adani ji invested 64,000 crores or 62,000 crores in Rajasthan. Did you cancel that, Mr. Gandhi? No. Now you are saying Adani is seen with Prime Minister Modi. That's why he's his friend, and Prime Minister Modi is helping him right, left, and center. I have seen pictures of Adani ji with Mr. 𝗤𝙑𝗫 𝗏. So does the same logic apply there as well, Mr. Gandhi? So you can't have for one man one set of logic and one man for another set of logic. It's same Mr. Gautam Adani. So with Prime Minister Modi, he behaves in one way, and when he does investments everywhere, they are all round tipping of cash and misappropriations. But when he does invest in Rajasthan, it's all legal, legitimate, 𝗒𝙧𝙤𝙪 𝗧𝗧, Amrit paisa, right? And you will not cancel his investments in Rajasthan. And when he is seen with Sree 𝗤𝙑𝗫 𝗏𝗏, then he's a very legitimate man. There are two businessmen talking. And come on, give me a break. At times, I feel crazy when I'm talking all this. I mean, by any what to say? By any whisper of imagination, would anybody buy this logic? With anybody interested in this logic? What kind of stories are you creating, Mr. Gandhi? And in 6 hours, you concluded everything. 6 घंटे में आपने सारा conclude कर दिया. आपको पता लगा मोदी जी का नाम है और उनको clear करना चाहिए. Godspeed. That's what they say in US. Next question. So, I think we have come to the end of these questions. So we want to talk to you about this. This is about the live sessions. This is one-to-one consultancy I offer to you. It's on a video conference. You can see the ID here, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏@gmail.com. You have to write to us. If you're facing problems with life, business, career, finances, spirituality, how do I investment money? Should I come to India? Nationalism and all. If you want any things where you need my help, advice, and consultation on, you can write to my team at 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏@gmail.com, and my team will help you to schedule the appointments with me, which will be one-to-one, personal and private. We can't discuss a lot of things on the open media like this, and that will be private and confidential. You can be anywhere in the world. You can be from any walk of life. Everybody is welcome. I'm helping a lot of people. I'm consulting a lot of people, and even I've started consulting a few corporates and companies. So in due course of time, we'll work out, and if it's a viable proportion, we'll work on it. That is my limited say on this. So this is what we have to offer and discuss today. And I always cherish for your support. I always want to thank you for this support. I need your support. I need you to raise your hue and cry on this dog menace, which is hitting our steeds at an alarming rate before it gets out of the hand. Again, my hand-folded request, sir, to the people who matter in the echelons of power. Sir, aapki madad chahiye, sir. On that note, I would like to end this broadcast. I will be meeting sharp at 9:30. और 9:30 में हम हिंदी में बात करेंगे पाकिस्तान को लेके. There's a lot you will know what is happening in Pakistan, and there's a lot of tamasha and there's a lot of conspiracies which are being hashed against India. So kindly join us back at 9:30. You and Moya are going to take a 35 minutes break. We'll see you again. On that note, namaskar, pranam, Jai Hind, Bharat Mata ki Jai.
𝗤𝗧𝙠𝗏